Does anyone know if these lives are pre-recorded and posted or actually live? Hopefully that gives you your answer to your question. Welcome back, everybody, to the Kristian Harloff Show. And today, we've got a big rumor. That's right. Wolverine is a big staple in the X-Men franchise. Well, there's a rumor out there that says that he will not be part of the MCU's first X-Men movie. Is that a smart move? Is that a dumb move? We will talk about that and more on the show today. And we have Jennifer Esposito talking about her new movie. So it's going to be a fun live show. Get your questions in now. Let's do it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Kristian Harloff Show. I'm very, very excited to have everybody here today. So make sure, if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, you should be, and put your questions in there. Basically what we do is we do the super chats at the end of the show. Now, we've been doing it right now. We're both, you know, it'll be hilarious. We'll see if it happens. But Roxy and Brett hold the record, I think, at 47 questions for one stream thus far, beating Roka's 43 from the other day, 48 they might have. I would love to beat them all by myself. We'll see if that happens. Right now, with a big fat goose egg, so it doesn't look like that's going to happen just yet. So we are going to discuss these topics today on the show, and we got a ton to talk about. And honestly, and we'll talk about the Colin Farrell Penguin thing and some other things, and I'm excited for you guys to hear the interview with Jennifer Esposito, talking about her new movie, and of course, you know her from Crash and The Boys and other things. But let's get to this first one, man. This is this rumor about Wolverine. And this is a big story. It's a big story if it is indeed true. So here it is. And it is the X-Men. Wolverine. Where am I? Where am I? Here I am. X-Men, Wolverine. It doesn't look like he's going to be in the movie, but it also looks like Hugh Jackman will continue on. So let's get to this topic over here from Comic Book Movie. All right, the X-Men rumor may reveal that the MC reboot team and surprising plans for Hugh Jackman Wolverines. Spoilers, I mean, if it's true, so we don't even know. Kevin Feige assured fans that an X-Men reboot was in the works shortly after Disney acquired 20th Century Fox assets back in 2019. We've only recently begun to get some official updates on the project. Michael Leslie is set to pen the script, and while a director has yet to be announced, the studio is believed to have begun meeting with filmmakers, and development is expected to kick into a higher gear in 2025. For now, all we have is rumors, but if these latest claims from Daniel Richtman prove to be accurate, fans might be very surprised by Marvel's plans for the mutant heroes, and more specifically, Wolverine. According to the Scooper, the MCU X-Men reboot will not feature Wolverine at all, and the team will be similar to the X-Men 97 animated series with some other characters added to the mix. Apparently, Logan will not be on the roster because Hugh Jackman will be sticking around for quite a while, possibly even post-Avengers Secret Wars. Jackman staying on the iconic clawed mutant is not that surprising after the massive success of Deadpool and Wolverine, but not including Logan in the rebooted team is a choice that might not sit very well with fans. Though comic book readers will likely see this as the right move, they've wanted more focus on the other characters for years, Wolvie is clearly still a huge draw for general audiences. During a recent interview with Discussing Film, Feige was asked how it feels knowing that we're closer to seeing the X-Men and Avengers together on the big screen, to which he says, "It is an extremely emotional on a personal level to have done a movie with Hugh after 25 years and being a small part of that first X-Men movie and knowing that thanks to various corporate studio entity deals, we now have 1,000 of the characters back. Characters I hadn't frankly thought about in many years because we didn't have the rights to them. Now that we do, it is fun thinking about who we can finally, our animated series X-Men 97 was sort of the first taste of people reuniting with the X-Men mythology and that storyline. The response to that series just further excited us about how to bring the soap opera and the saga of the mutants to the MCU. The Cosmic Circus, Alex Perez believes that the groundwork will be laid for an eventual Avengers versus X-Men project in the upcoming reboot and Avengers movies, but we won't actually see both super teams clash on screen for quite a while. So, all right, this is interesting. Okay, so let's say Daniel Richtman's pretty good. His track record is decent. It would make sense if this is where they want to go, and I think that Mark Cassidy kind of makes this aware in the article. it does put focus, and it doesn't make you rely on Wolverine. I mean, the majority, and is one of the biggest complaints about all the X-Men movies from 2000 on, was that, oh, here you got to rely on Hugh Jackman and Wolverine in order to make this thing really work, and in order to make people care, because they set him up and he was the most intriguing thing. And he's always been one of the most intriguing characters in all of X-Men. He was my favorites. He's my favorite. He's a lot of people's favorites. So the idea of not having him in to build up the other characters and then eventually bringing him in with a new actor down the line, it makes sense. It's a risky move. And at first when I heard it, I was like, well, that's stupid, because the other reason why is because they're doing it to capitalize off of still having Hugh Jackman around. I get it. I understand it, right? It's like, but most people are probably saying the same thing, and I'm sure we'll see it a lot in the comments here. It's like, let somebody else play the role. You know, everybody was getting excited when it was like, it wasn't one of these things where it's like only Hugh Jackman could play it. People were excited whether or not it was going to be Taron Egerton or even Daniel Radcliffe. And then after you see what Henry Cavill did, you're like, oh, this is going to be fun to see somebody else do it. So the excitement of someone else playing it is certainly there. The idea of why they wanted to keep Hugh Jackman after making this money, and if he still wants to do it again, now he's back and kind of excited, and to see him with all these other characters and not get it confused with a new Wolverine, and to not step on the new Wolverine's toes, it makes sense. It does. It makes sense. I don't necessarily mean that I like it, but it makes sense. If you think about it overall, this is something that is a major, major thing for them. As you hear Feige talking about the X-Men. So if you can give, you know that eventually they're going to bring him in, and they're going to bring in a new X-Men, a new Wolverine. So if you're able to actually pull it off, that the risk is that you don't pull it off without him. And then it's like nobody cares. Like, where's Wolverine? Nobody cares. And you're still able to kind of bounce back and forth and say, well, we have this Wolverine here, and then if you make more movies with Hugh Jackman, and like, we don't need to see anybody else as Wolverine. He's fine. Do a CGI version of him, which no one wants. People are going to eventually want a new Wolverine. That'll be fine. But I don't know. I do understand it. I'm so curious to where people are feeling in the comment section, right? Because I do feel like there's going to be people like, yeah, you don't give Wolverine a break. Let focus on some other characters. Wolverine is not the only X-Men. There are other X-Men that you really can dive into and give them a time to shine. And then when he does show up, you're like, okay, great, here he is. Now we didn't need him to make the X-Men special, because you don't. The X-Men have great characters all the way around. Wolverine's not the only one. So, yeah, when I first heard it, I said, no. And then I said, yeah, just like that. Because it makes sense. It does make sense. So I'm very curious to what all you guys are thinking, if you feel the same way. Do you think that this is something, you know, that is going to hurt them if they don't do it? Or do you think that, no, let's focus in on some other people, man. It's time to do it. It's time to do it. Okay. As I said, we have a lot to go through today. 2 questions so far, coming for you, rocks. 3 questions so far, coming for you, rocks. And I will also tell you that I'm pumped to have you guys listen to myself and Jennifer Esposito talking about her new movie. It's Fresh Kills. It's on Amazon, and it's a mafia story. So we're going to discuss that in a little bit. Cool to have another guest in studio. We're doing more in-studio guests. We're doing more guests in general. I do have a question for you guys. And let me ask somebody. So whoever puts in the next, you'll let you be the spokesperson. Whoever puts in the next question on Super Chat, whatever, let me know your opinion on this, because I've been doing a few clip outs of the show, right? When we do these things, people kept asking me, when do you do clip outs? Sometimes I can't catch the full show. I like to do clip outs, and I've been putting some on there. But I do have a clips channel. My thought as I'm walking the dog this morning, I was thinking this. I think I'm going to put like 1 or 2 clips on the main channel per day. Like 1 or 2, and then the rest will go up on the clips channel. That's my thought process. Do like 1 or 2 to let people know, oh, there was a show today. This is one of the major topics, and then that way you guys could see it as shorter clips. I think that'll be my strategy moving forward, is to do like 1 or 2 clip outs on the main channel, and on all the other ones on the clip out channel, and you'll have all the celebrity interview clip outs on that channel also. But you know, I like hearing from you guys, so let me know. Okay, Tony, you're getting bicycles. You're getting a timeout, Tony. See you later. Come back later if you'd like. So let's get into some other topics, though. We got other topics coming up. And here we go. This is Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. I want to say it twice. He did good this weekend, guys. And it looks like he's going to do pretty good on the next one also. And Beetlejuice sequel to rule the box office once again. The Tim Burton directed Beetlejuice is expected to drop around 60% in its second weekend at the U.S. domestic box office. Even so, it will still garner around $44 million, making it the second best second weekend in September behind only the $60 million sophomore haul of the first It. Between Friday and Tuesday, the film racked up $126 million domestically, and its current rate, it's estimated its domestic run shy of $300 million. Joining them is Blumhouse and Universal's $15 million budget horror thriller Speak No Evil, starring James McAvoy, Mackenzie Davis, and Scoot McNairy. It's tracking for a $10 million start and has been getting good reviews overall. The Dave Bautista-led action comedy The Killer's Game is currently only slated to do around $5 million for its debut weekend. The documentary Am I Racist? And Sundance acquisition My Old Ass is also entering the fray. Next weekend, we will see animated Transformers 1 enter the market, and it will likely take the crown as it's set to be targeting a $40 to $50 million opening. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I hope it makes way more than that. You never would have thought I was going to say that, but I know. Yeah, man. The box office has bounced back significantly. Beetlejuice is doing what we thought it would do. It's going to have a nice little run for itself. Probably will tap out around 300, whatever it might be. It's done well. It's not an international movie. It's going to make its money here in the States, and that's what it's going to wind up doing. And having a 60% drop off is fine, considering it's going to have the second biggest second weekend in September. So they're going to be happy with that. Warner Brothers is going to be happy with that. And then the other movies that are coming out. But like I said, Transformers 1 was probably my biggest surprise of the year. In a million years, I wouldn't have told you that it's one of my favorite movies of the year thus far, that it was going to be. I would have said, from seeing that trailer, I didn't even know if I wanted to see it. And it was, I just absolutely loved it. Loved it. Speak No Evil to me was fine. I see it's getting heavy. I mean, I guess if you put it in my review, I haven't done a full, official score yet, but I would put it over the 3s. So it would get a fresh from me. So I guess that would add to the 90-something. You'd probably get like a 3.2, 3.3 or something along those lines. Maybe even a 3.5. It depends on how I feel when I'm reviewing it. But right now, that movie is going to do what it needs to do. It's going to make the Blumhouse money. Blumhouse, I think, is brilliant. I've mentioned this yesterday. I mentioned it again. And that's what the box office is going to look like in this particular weekend. So very, very curious on how it's going to shape up for the rest of the year. And those are the big hitters. I remember somebody said it wasn't Roka, but it was somebody who said that Beetlejuice was going to make $1 billion. I was like, no chance. No chance, but it's just not that kind of a movie. But it's still a very, very popular movie at that. People are going to be asking me. I'm sure someone's going to ask me in the comment section if I saw the Venom Last Dance trailer. I did not. I didn't see it yet. It's the final trailer. The movie comes out soon. I'm probably not even going to watch it. I'm going to see it. So now that Borderlands wraps its run with a $31 million gross. Just did the actual reaction to that with Matt Serra. That's on my channel. I got the Trap reaction. The final edit's coming out on that tomorrow morning with my wife, and we'll be doing that one, so you guys can tune into that if you want to see us reacting to Trap. And then we got some more. The Transformers 1 reviews are in. Let's see that. Let's see what. Because I'll say, am I in the minority? Am I the only person that liked this movie? Let's see. Okay. Transformer 1 reviews are in. The reviews are here for Paramount Pictures' new animated features, Transformers 1, and so far the verdict is good. As time of the writing, the film has landed at 93%. That's what I'm saying. 7.5 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. 7.5. That's a 93. That makes it the most well-reviewed Transformers film to date. The film explores the untold origin story of Prime and Megatron, better known as sworn enemies, but once were friends, bound like brothers, who changed the fate of Cybertron forever. Chris Hemsworth, Brian Tyree Henry voice Prime and Megatron, respectively, in what marks the first ever fully CG animated Transformers movie. Also, in the cast are Scarlett Johansson, Keegan-Michael Key, John Hamm, Lawrence Fishburne and Alpha Trion. Alpha Trion. That's Alpha Trion. Yeah, Alpha Trion is actually in the movie. And Steve Buscemi. Let's see. Besides the raucous, the rigor action sequences, Transformers 1 provides numerous witty jokes of both the verbal and visual variety and surprise, genuine emotion. Agreed. The rarity of a franchise film that seems principally concerned with appealing to a new generation is more in line with the legacy of the original series than any film that has come since. Agreed. While still delivering the fun and excitement expected of Hasbro's metamorphosizing robots, Transformers 1 approaches the well-known characters with a degree of nuance and complexity that makes the most sophisticated on-screen portrait of them to date. Agreed. A fun reminder of why we all like the robots, who were more than meets the eye in the first place. It doesn't touch the artistic crossover heights of Spider-Verse or Mutant Mayhem, but that does mean it doesn't mean it's not pretty darn great. Agreed. I don't know about I think it's better than Mutant Mayhem. I don't know if it's... I like Transformers better than Spider-Man, but I don't know if it's better. I mean, I'm just saying in general, but I don't know if it's better than Spider-Verse. Transformers 1 channels the joy the first brought audiences to this universe back in the 80s and proves there's still good stories left to tell. I'm agreeing with everyone. Here's Jermaine. This is my buddy. Transformers 1 easily wipes away the bad taste 20 years of live-action Transformer movies may have left for some. It's big, it's beautiful, and it's arguably the best Transformers movie ever. I'm with you, Jermaine. I'm with you. And Alonzo fills in the backstory for the legendary robots in disguise, but there's little here for viewers who come in with no investment in this universe, cinematic or otherwise. Stop it, Alonzo. I love you, Alonzo. I love you more than anything. You're one of my favorite people in the world, but you stop this. You stop this, Alonzo. And I would tell you this if I was sitting in front of you at any screening. I love you, Alonzo. It's my favorite people in the world. There's so much. There's so much. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited. 93%. And it looks like I'm kind of on the same page as everybody else. God, I loved this movie. I want to see it again. Hey, I gotta give props to Fan-Nimator 101, who's been in the chat like a madman, telling everybody to see Transformers 1, saying, hey, Arlof, I hope you're gonna eat your words. And I told you, I said, look, I don't even know yet. I'll tell you what you were right about. You were right about one thing, because you said the thing about, you kept saying, you're gonna be wrong, you're gonna be wrong. I said, look, the first time I saw the trailer, I said, this thing stinks. I want nothing to do with this. And then I saw more stuff on it. And I go, oh, this is for kids. It's just going to be for kids, and they're aiming for 6-year-olds. No, that's where I was wrong, and that's where you were right. This is a full, as the review said, it's a full-on Transformers lore, heart, humor, everything. I'm so glad that everybody is on kind of the same page here. I thought it was great. I thought it was a really great movie. One of my favorites of the year. One of my favorites of the year. Who the hell thought I was going to say that? One of my favorites of the year. Holy moly. Holy moly. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. All right. Last one before we get to the interview. Right now we're at 7 questions. I'm coming for you, Rocks. I'm going to take the title today. No, I'm not. Farrell, done with the Penguin makeup. That's the headline. That was what I was going to lead with until all this other crazy stuff dropped too. But Colin Farrell is sick of the makeup of Penguin, because HBO is set to premiere its Batman spin-off series, The Penguin, next week. The 8-episode series set after the events of Matt Reeves' film. It in the wake of the death of Carmine Falcone, and with parts of Gotham City still somewhat flooded, a turf war breaks out for supremacy over the city's underworld. This focus of the series is on Colin Farrell's Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin, a role which requires the actor to don nearly 4 hours of makeup a day to play a character who looks drastically different from him. The process took a toll on the Irish actor, who tells Total Film magazine that he's not sure about returning to the role for a potential second season, as right now he's over it. He said, I don't know, man. Don't get me wrong. I loved it, but it got on me a little bit. By the end of it, I was bitching and moaning to anyone who would listen to me that I effing wanted it to be finished. He said he tried to remind everyone that despite his grumpiness, he was all grateful, and he really did feel privileged for the role, and discussed his love of Burgess Meredith and Danny DeVito's prior interpretations. Overall, he called it a really powerful experience. However, by the end of the filming, he was done with the makeup, and so wouldn't talk about coming back for a second season for a long time. Lauren, LaFranc showrunner, said, look, if I can find a way that makes sense, would you talk about it? And I said, absolutely. Maybe in a year I would, but when it was finished, I was like, I never want to put that effing suit on and then effing head on again. Farrell will be donning the suit again next year when the Batman Part 2 begins filming, though his role will be notably smaller than it is in the TV series. So, look, this is one of those things where you're in the thick of it, and you're doing this every day, and you're over it. But guess what else? The show hasn't aired. If the show is as good as it looks like it's going to be. And people are, raving again about this performance and want to see another season. And HBO comes knocking on the door a little bit more and says, take this truck of cash, Colin Farrell, put the suit on. He's going to do it. Right now, he doesn't want anything to do with it because the show hasn't aired. It's too fresh, and he doesn't want anything to do with it. He'll do it again. But it's got to be horrible. And especially when you look at the fact you couldn't even recognize this guy. He's a good-looking dude. Couldn't even recognize him in this role in that movie. Like, I remember watching that with my wife, and she's like, who is that? That's Colin Farrell. What? Yeah. She hasn't even seen the whole thing, by the way. She only saw a little bit. I'd probably do a rewatch with her. She's seen like 5 minutes of it. But she saw the trailer. She saw him. And she's like, this is, I can't believe that's him. You didn't know it. You're watching that movie, you can't tell. He disappears in it. But it's got to be exhausting. But you got to get him back. I mean, especially if, you're going to do, he doesn't need to have a huge role in the Matt Reeves thing, especially if you're going to see this. But if this show is as big of a hit as you think it is going to be or could be, you got to get him back. But yeah, it's that's got to be really rough. It's got to be really rough to continue to put that on every 4 hours a day, man. 4 hours a day, and then you got to shoot. I just watched the David Chase documentary. Watched it last night, both parts. I highly recommend it. It's great to watch, especially if you're a Sopranos fan. And just the stuff that they were doing. You listen to how that took its toll on Gandolfini every day, being the lead of a show, and the things that he was doing. He wasn't wearing 4 hours of makeup. And not only the lead of the show of this thing, you're putting on 4 hours of makeup, and it's probably just you probably just pissed off. It probably helps through the performance to just be angry all the damn time. But who the hell wants that? I don't blame him for getting frustrated. I do not. And it was funny because I was thinking this last night. I was watching this documentary, and they're talking about, like, because you always see people who don't understand how sets and all the things work. Like, what are these actors complaining about? It's not hard work. Yeah, okay. Listen to what Gandolfini had to go through with the stuff that he had to do, and how many, like, the long 13 to 15 hours that he's got to consistently do, and then he's got to go home and he's got to memorize all this stuff. Like, I hate memorizing stuff. I used to memorize freaking things for Fandango, and I hated it. I hated it so much. When Tiffany and I would do our show together, and I would, if you're tired and you got your brain's got to, you got to memorize these long monologues and things. Not to mention the emotions you got to put behind it. It's a lot. And people are, oh, who cares? Try working in a factory. I understand the labor stuff, and I understand that, but it doesn't mean that there's not exhausting stuff that goes into other jobs where you don't have to do, work with your hands. And a lot of stuff with acting, sometimes you even have to do that. The action stars and all of that stuff too. And there's a lot. And the emotions that he had to go through. So the emotions that Colin Farrell is going through and the stuff that he's got to be able to do. I feel for the guy. I do. I think he'll come back, though. They can't afford to lose him. They just can't afford to lose him. I think that's, they'll do whatever they can to keep him in there. But all right, I asked you guys, what do you think? Do you think this is something that we should be worried about, or it's just no, he's just pissed off right now, but he's going to be all right? I want to know. Put your comments in there. Tell me what you think. We're going to bring Jennifer Esposito in the studio. We're going to have you guys listen to the conversation between us. And again, throw in the comments and all the questions when the interview is over. I will go through the questions unless there's something else that pops up, another story or whatnot. But before we do, I've been telling you about Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that I use all the time. You have subscriptions that you don't know about, and it helps you. It keeps you on track. I have it. I get updates on my phone all the time. It's the best. You can go to rocketmoney.com/BigThing, and you use that code. Sign up today. It is worth it. It is one of those things where you don't, like, I'm telling you, somebody says, you have bills you have to pay. You have to do this. You have to do that. Hey, you're spending all this money on this. You don't even use that anymore. It is such a wonderful thing, and I have just loved using Rocket Money, and you will too. The other thing that I have to tell you about is Liquid IV, and you guys know Liquid IV. I've told you about Liquid IV, but here you go. And then enjoy the interview with Jennifer Esposito. Okay, here you go. I was having a barbecue with the family, and I was going to go and went to pick up some games for the kids to play, and I was picking up cornhole, and while I was at the sports store getting it, I kept seeing Liquid IV, and more, I'm so excited that people are learning about Liquid IV because I've known about them now for a bit since they've been on the show. Liquid IV has refreshing summer flavors like popsicle firecracker. It's got rainbow sherbet. It hits the spot when you need transformative, hydrating relief. I really do enjoy it, and it's great to have Liquid IV. It really is. And I love this popsicle one, so I'm showing it right now. You can choose from their line of sugar-free flavors. They have raspberry melon, they have white peach, they have green grape. So what you want to do is you want to tear, pour, live more. One stick, 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. It's powered by LIV Hydroscience, which is an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. It's got 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So indulge in hydration this summer with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV, but you got to use liquidiv.com and use the code BIGTHING at checkout. You get 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today. Use that promo code BIGTHING at liquidiv.com. Yeah, so as I was telling you, we moved from LA and we got this thing. I came in about a week earlier and my producer came in here and designed this whole entire thing cool. and did it so fast, and then came in another week in like June, but I had to pick the pictures that I want.
You have you have all
Back to the Future. We got Dune 2. Have you seen Dune 2?
I haven't.
Oh, it's so good.
I love him. I think he's fantastic.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's amazing. You really have. But that.
Yeah, well, George Carlin is like my inspiration.
No, he's amazing.
He was great.
How could he not?
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. There were so many different things thank you again for telling me about Fresh Kills. I get a chance to talk to you about it. And I didn't realize, because there's in this story, so Fresh Kills is it's a family story. It is a mafia story. Mm-hmm. And the whole family they start in Brooklyn to Staten Island, mm-hmm. and then that's you. You're the same.
That is.
You started in Brooklyn.
Yes.
So let's start with that. Tell me about growing up in Brooklyn and how long it took before your family took you there, and then how that kind of incorporated into this script.
I have an older sister, so when my family said we're moving to Brooklyn, and I was probably 8,
okay,
and my sister's 7 years older than me, so she was a teenager, and she was just like, I am not going. And I was like, me neither. It's like I knew nothing.
Right.
But there was such a, it felt like the country.
Yeah.
Because growing up in Brooklyn, we're playing in the street. And it was like, car, every 5-second car. Yep. And you'd sit on the stoop and you have block parties. And all of that was like just what I knew.
Sure.
And then because my cousin, we were very close with, I used to go and visit her and she lived in Staten Island. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, going to the country, because you had the grass and no one was around. And so it was very different. And with my sister protesting, I hated it. Oh, and I had no idea what I hated. Yeah. I just knew I hated it.
Right.
But then, having a bigger house and having the grass and all that. So that is very reflective of the beginning of the movie. But as I got older and grew up and started to go into high school, mm-hmm. and realizing, of course, not realizing it then because it was all just my world, but realizing it now, what I was surrounded by.
Yeah.
And I was surrounded by mafia families.
Yeah.
And I was in school with the daughters. And they're a vicious bunch.
Of course.
Teenage girls, as it is, pretty vicious.
Well, when they think that they have ultimate power,
they did.
They make it.
They
did.
Worse, yeah. I have to say they did, because there was no rules for them.
Yeah.
There was none. So it was. It's something that stayed with me. The violence that I saw from them, and it's something that has stayed with me. The rage that I saw with them. Uh-huh. So growing up and running from these girls and being frightened and realizing that, I guess it's because their dads are doing what they're doing. But then it's staying with me. I didn't know why. And it stayed with me throughout my early life and then my career. And I was like, why would I keep thinking about this story? And I'm a very big why person, quite annoyingly so, where I have to understand. Sure. So it stayed with me for a long time, and little by little I kept realizing that the story was staying at me because something in their anger felt like my own, and I didn't understand at first, and then realized that, it had nothing to do really with their families. It had to do with choice.
Sure.
They didn't have a choice, and they weren't getting out of it.
Yeah, so I mean, that's everything you say. Well, first of all, I relate to it a lot because my kids right now, from going from LA and being in that area and then coming here and seeing where we are in this area, trees everywhere, and they just can't believe, and people, New Yorkers get a bad rap. People
yes.
say that we're rude, and it's like, no, we're honest. And
We're honest. We're clear.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. And people have been nothing but wonderful here, and to my family, and to my kids.
That's great.
But I also relate to it because I lived in Queens, so I've never lived in the island before. So even now, to where you're talking about when you were a kid, I'm talking about like now. For me, it's like, well, this is magical land.
It's funny because I was driving here and it's like, oh, look at the trees, how pretty.
Yeah.
The trees are lovely. Isn't this lovely? I have a place out east all the way in like the woods, which is lovely. But for me, I still need that something of the city, of like,
the energy,
that's it, the energy. Because we were saying, like, I lived in LA for a little while as well, and it was just hard for me there. I didn't get it. For me, I didn't. Like, I want to walk.
Right.
I want to walk.
Yeah.
I want to see different people. I want to see, walking down the street. I want to see the leaves fall off the trees.
The seasons. Yeah, you don't have that. They got good food though. Good food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good food in LA.
Yeah.
I do miss. I mean, there's some great food here. No,
my God,
of course. But there's good food in LA. I mean, there's a lot of things that I absolutely did like about it. I met a lot of great people, but there's just something about it being back that is, and I never knew that I was going to come back. So I'm glad.
Wow.
But I think that relates also to the film, right? It's like where you have this family, and then you have your character, by the way, who's just kind of. It reminded me in a lot of these. What makes movies like this and shows like this so, I think, realistic is that you got to believe the family.
Oh, 100%.
You got to believe what's going on there, and it can't be stereotypes, and it can't be. And it feels like it's a real family. So, and the idea of like the protecting of it, and no, it's not true what they say about your father. It's not this, and like. Tell me a little bit about your character and this, A, where the inspiration came of the character, and then B, like what she's really telling herself inside of these choices of what you could have done, what you really didn't do. 'Cause she keeps bringing up that one thing about the photographer and kind of make the lie.
I know.
So all of that.
Okay, so it's a lot. I'll try and okay, so we know this takes place in a mafia world, but really, it really has nothing to do with the mafia.
Right.
It really is about choice, and it's about the boxes that we're put in, either born into or were put in society. And so there's also underneath that the cycle of that and the cycle of generational trauma. And again, the mother was born into a space and born into a slot and then married into a slot. And she wasn't leaving. And there's something in that culture. I'm saying as an Italian American growing up around Italian Americans, and Staten Island is a very loyal, and that's wonderful. But there's also something like, you think you're better than me because you want to leave? And it's like, no, I just want to leave. I want to do something more than what I'm told I should be here, which is like, I remember when I was in 8th grade, I said I wanted to be an actress in my 8th grade yearbook, and I was ridiculed.
Really?
Oh, I was tortured. Like, oh, you think you're a big shot. And it was like, why? Because I have a dream?
Yeah.
It's a very strange thing, but also I feel that happens with women. And that's where Francine stems from, my character. And it's she wants the best for her daughter. She doesn't have the tools to tell her how to do it. So she sticks with this one story that was her like reach outside her world. That was like her heyday.
Right.
And she's hanging on to that for dear life. And that's the only tool she has for her daughter to kind of say, you can do more, But you realize one of the first scenes that I'm speaking, I say, you can do more, but make sure you don't forget me.
Right.
So it's like, go, I love you, and I really do hope, I really love you, and I want the best for you. But don't leave me behind.
Right.
Because if you do, it's like crabs in a bucket.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, so many people, men and women, have said, I understand that. Like there's been a friend in my life or a family member in my life. And generational trauma is very difficult to break.
Yes, it is. And I think, well, that was the thing, though, when you mentioned that, that I think was so telling about her, because then when Rose comes up with the idea and she's like, this is what I think, she's confiding. And it seems like you got it all figured out. But how sincere is it? Right. How sincere is that? Right?
It's so bad. And I always say, Francine is your biggest supporter and your worst nightmare. And I knew someone like that very intimately. And that is a very scary line to walk with someone, because you never know really what's coming at you. And you really, I do believe this person like wants the best, but then there's also a
she's tortured too.
Jealousy.
Oh yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
It's like I want the best for you, but if the best actually comes for you, I don't know if I really want the best for you.
Exactly,
Right,
because it goes into, why did you get these opportunities and not me?
Right.
And it's like this anger. And I teach. I've taught throughout my career, but the last 3 years I've taught just to keep my mind sane from going down this road with this movie. It has been. We don't have enough alcohol to talk deeply about that, because it's been torture. So I went back to teaching to just stay in the work.
Yeah.
Because the business isn't about the work necessarily. And I teach, and I also have this thing called the I'm Sorry monologues, which is just for women. And it's women of a certain age, I'm finding, they understand that role with Francine deeply.
Yeah.
Because again, we were in the 80s, late 80s, 90s, the movie. So Francine, a little earlier generationally, and it was like just women just did not have the choices.
Right.
So when they see their daughters having more choices, there's like a,
Right. Yeah. And
why didn't I get those choices?
and she shows that thread. But Annabella.
Oh my God!
I mean, I want to say, I mean, her character obviously, and then she just her showing up. I always cheer when I see her. She's the best.
Totally agree.
She's the best. But let's go away from the character for a second and talk about getting her in the movie. Talk about this cast in general, because what you did, you cast very well in this movie.
Thank you.
And what was also done well was taking people that have been in other projects. You got a couple of Sopranos. You got Tulsa King in there.
That's right.
You've got a lot of really, really solid people here. So tell me about the crafting of the movie itself, putting it together, because you obviously had this story in your mind since you were a little girl, and so now, and this is the first time you direct.
Yep.
So you do all of that. How do you put it all together?
Insanely.
Yeah,
It was
tell me.
just, it's been a road, to be honest. Listen, people come to me all the time now, and because I also do writing classes, and it's like, someone asked me point blank, how do you know if a story is worth telling? And I said, if you have to ask me that question, it's not. Period, end of story. I didn't have a choice. Like, this bitch, Fresh Kills, haunted me. Like it literally, when I tell you it haunted me, it haunted me.
Like it had to be told.
Like anytime I hit a roadblock in the business, which was every other month, anytime I hit a roadblock in my creativity, anytime I got depressed of like, what am I doing with my life? The voice would come, you're supposed to do Fresh Kills. That's because you're not doing Fresh Kills. It was like, shut up. Like, I don't know how to do Fresh Kills. Yes, you do. Like, do it. And it was like, and it was literally this thing of constantly gnawing at me.
Right.
And I have to say, if it wasn't, and if you're not forced to tell the story, nobody in their right mind would want to go down this road as being an independent filmmaker.
Right.
It is the most unjust, exhausting, brutal, like ugly, like it's, but magnificent.
Once
I started,
it's done, right? Yeah.
But even during the process, like I started an independent film. I love independent film, but we did it when I was doing it. It was independent film.
Right.
Now we got A24 and Neon,
Right.
independent film.
And streaming and all
Give
that
me a
stuff.
break.
Right.
It's like you got millions. I was doing movies for $500,000, and like who was holding the boom and who was holding, like we got dressed in the back of a truck.
Right.
It was independent film. It wasn't this thing now.
Right.
And it's brutal. It really is. The business part of it, making it and getting money and who means what monetarily. There's like 5 women that mean money and maybe 10 men that mean money. 10, more than 10, probably 15.
Okay.
And that's how you get funding. That's why you keep seeing the same people. It's not like, oh, they're the best.
Right.
They are the best. They're very good. A lot of them are fantastic, but all the time,
Right.
in every role,
Right. Because they can get movies made.
that's right. That's
Right.
it.
Right.
That's it. Because someone goes, "Oh shoot, okay, no,
Right.
that's millions."
Part of the package.
That's part. I mean, you can't get anything made. It's
Right.
really so. It's brutal. So if you don't have to tell the story, you really don't. You shouldn't.
Right. Unless it's like unless you have those people, then it's like a guarantee you're going to make the movie and they're going to give you the money.
Exactly.
Right.
And then, is it a story you want to tell?
Right. And how many cooks are going to be in the kitchen to you know, is that a problem that you fell into? Were there people that were, once you got the financing for it, that they wanted to kind of change it up?
I didn't get the financing for it.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I mortgaged my house to do this.
Wow.
Yes. Oh, yes. So what happened was, I kept going and doing these Zoom meetings because it was over COVID, which was another roadblock. I kept going into these Zoom meetings and like, hey, I have a new idea. Out of all the mafia films we've all seen and love, we've never seen the road of the female. We've never seen it through the female's point of view. Never.
Right.
And here I am with a different story. Wouldn't everybody be excited? Yeah, they were excited, but like, oh, you're going to direct it?
Right.
Oh, who's going to be in it? And it was like, and then it was like, okay, we'll give you $5 million if you get a big name. Someone wanted me to get Ethan Hawke.
Okay.
And it was like, I love Ethan Hawke. He's amazing. Is he as right as Dominic Lombardozzi?
Right.
No. Dom grew up around this. Like, Dom knows this world.
Yeah.
And Ethan is extraordinary, but Ethan would have brought money to the movie. Dom, unfortunately, doesn't. And Dom's a brilliant actor.
Dom's so good.
I mean, he's incredible. So it was like, what is happening here? And then I got little investments. And then it got to a point I never forgot this day. I was literally on my like 168th Zoom call asking for money. And it was me and these 4 men. And I was like, and then, I was giving the whole pitch. And one guy in the middle of me, like in the middle of this story, he was like, "You're so passionate about this, aren't you?"
Oh, kind of, yeah.
And I was just like, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
I think I'm done here. And I went to my husband. I said, he heard. And he was just like, he's not from this country. So he doesn't understand, like, why is it so weird here with women and men? And I said, I can't do this anymore. I think I'm going to take money out of the house. And he was like, oh.
Yeah. How was that conversation?
Honestly, I had bought the house myself way back when I was doing a TV show. And I did it because I didn't want to be a slave to the industry anymore. Sure. I didn't want to have to do things that I didn't want to do. And I wanted to have some security and not have to do things that I hated and for money.
Right.
I'm an artist, sadly, and money isn't the thing. I just went to him and I said, listen, this is what I'm thinking because I have to do this. And I know, like, on my dying bed that I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, well, you'd be talking about it. I mean, even just the last 15, 20 minutes, it was in your head. It was haunting you. I mean, you would never be able to sleep if you didn't get this.
Imagine dying.
No,
it would be like, I can't die. Like, oh, my house is paid though. Like, who cares?
Right.
So, and he was so over the fact of what he was seeing. Mm-hmm. So he was like, go for it.
Just do it.
Go for it. Yeah. I believe in you. And so I would never have been able to do what I did with certain characters if it wasn't all mine. No way, no how would I have been able to do what I did.
Well, that's why I was going to ask. That's why I asked that question. As far as like, was there a lot of people? Because it didn't seem like there was. It seemed like this was the raw thing that you wanted to make. Yeah, absolutely.
And that is the beauty of funding it yourself.
Yeah.
Or being in that position where you can make the rules, because I wouldn't have gotten the cast I got. I wouldn't have been able to do certain things. Just none of it.
Do you know, it also reminded me, I don't know if you remember this, because we were talking about, you're a big movie lover like me, obviously. Do you remember that movie? It was Craig Sheffer and Emilio Estevez, and it was called, oh my God, I can't remember the name of the movie. I just had it in my head.
Something's sparking in my brain.
It was something, and I can't, that was, oh shoot, it was yesterday, that was today, that was yesterday, today is tomorrow, something like that. And the reason I bring it up is I remember seeing in Florida as a kid. And it was the relationship of these two best friends, not brothers, but it was similar enough to where this relationship that the sisters have, where it's like the one sister who's just the wild card, and then the one who's playing it by the rules, and then there's just so long that the one that's playing by the rules is going to say enough is enough. So, and now hearing your story, that seems that was you.
100%. It was also, I always say this because people say, who are you? Rose is who I am. Connie is who I had to become.
Right.
To exist. And the amount of people, men and women, that feel that way has been really extraordinary. Because I was in film festivals for about a year with this film. So I got to meet audiences all over the country. And that was really incredible. I remember, when we first got with this distributor, they were like, this is a girls' movie. And I was just like, guys, please hear me. It's not. I've been to the festivals all year, and the men that come over to me, sobbing, crying, trying to hide it, or writing me personally, like, that really moved me. I'm in a different culture, or that really moved me because I think of my daughters.
Right. That's what got me. Yeah, because I have two daughters, so that was.
There's something there. Listen, it's about a family, like you said in the beginning. It's about this family, this loving family, but broken family, and how we choose to either choose ourselves or our family.
Yeah.
And so many people understand that.
I did. I mean, absolutely. So just watching it, and I think you did it for your first time, and the story, I think that's your story making this is as exciting as the story itself, because anybody, I mean, you look at the stuff that we were just talking about that's on the wall, like whether it's Rocky or too, and that's really what it's about, right? So if you got to believe in something, you go for it, you make it happen, because you would, like you said, you wouldn't be able to sleep, you had to do it. But taking all of this now, this experience, the years it's taken, well, many years from the inception of the idea, what now can you breathe? And can you say, because obviously you're promoting it, you want people to see it. It's on. I watched it on Amazon last night.
Thank you.
So it's like there are people that now, and that's where, by the way, if you want to go check out Fresh Kills, you go Amazon, you can go a bunch of
Apple, Fandango. Yeah. It's moving everywhere now.
You go everywhere, and you watch it, and you check it out. But now, what do you do next? Do you continue in with directing? Do you go back full time? Do you want to do more TV? Do you want to do movies? What's the goal right now?
I started, like I said, in independent films. I just want to tell good stories. And that was my frustration throughout my career, because we don't make a ton of great stories. They come out around award season, and there's about maybe 10 at best. I'm being generous. But the rest of the year, it's just stuff.
Right.
I wanted to be a filmmaker. I wanted to go to NYU. I don't even think I understood what that meant because there were no females doing this, not that I knew of. And I thought I didn't have the money to go. My parents were like, good luck. And I thought, okay, well, I guess the role for me as a female is an actress. And so I waited tables, put myself through acting school, and the work I got to do in acting school at Lee Strasberg Theater Institute was incredible.
Yeah.
You're picking these incredible plays, and then you get out and you're handed an under five. My first job, it was actually me and Justin Theroux.
Oh, wow.
It was me and Justin Theroux, our first jobs, both of us. And we had under fives, and my lines were, I'm a hand model, hands and feet. That's it. I studied for how many years doing theater.
Right.
And then there I am doing hands and feet.
Yeah.
And him the same. He
Right.
was the photographer.
It's hilarious.
We were the bad kids. And like, so what I want to do is what I should have always been doing, but I let the business and the world dictate who I was, what I was capable of, what I wasn't capable of, how I should show up in the world, how I should show up in the business. And I just got really tired of it. But I also got really tired of the work that was available for me and friends of mine, and seeing how they really disregard women after a certain age. It's just like, you just don't hear from anybody anymore. And I was like, I'm not doing this. And that voice came in and was like, well, you know what you're supposed to do. And it's like, shut up.
Yeah.
And I remember it was probably 6 years ago, because I had started and stopped writing this a gazillion times.
Yeah. And it was always a movie? It was never a TV?
It was always a movie,
okay.
yeah. And it got to about 6 years ago, and I was starting to do a podcast with a friend, and I was just so, my heart wasn't in anything. And I said, well, you know what your heart is in? You want to tell this story. And it was like, why are you holding everybody else accountable? Your agent, your manager, the business, the world.
Right.
Why aren't you doing your job, calling me? And it was like, well, why aren't you?
Okay.
What are you doing?
Right.
If you think you're such hot shit, what are you doing? And it was like, oh, what am I doing? Complaining. Don't complain. Do something about it. If you're waiting for anybody to call you or sign on to your dream, it is not happening. I can tell you that 100%.
Yeah.
It's not happening. And then when you go down even further and you make the thing, you make the script, and you're like, look, I made the script. And then you get, if they read it, oh, Jennifer Esposito wrote this? Like, got it. You thought I was an idiot. Okay. And then you go out and then you make the thing. And here I am with the thing that's won awards all through the film festivals. We have a 92 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 94 from the people, the critics and the people. And still, you get it and you go, look, I did the thing, and it's critically acclaimed, and still crickets.
Right, because it's like, where's the money?
Where's the money?
Right.
Where's the beef? Where's the money?
Right.
Who are the stars?
Right.
Who are the... And that's when I think it really was like, oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, this never had anything to do with me, actually. This is an issue. Like, there isn't no great new scripts. They're not being made. So this has become, like I said, I started in indie films. This has become not even about me anymore. And it's not about ego. This is about, as a person who loves film, I want to know what my choices are. I want to know what's out there. And you're not knowing. People are not knowing what is out there because they are showing you the big things that they want to show you that's going to make money. Slots are bought. When you see, oh, look at the top 10. These are the top 10. You're just like, that doesn't seem correct. It's not. It's not. It's a machine.
Yeah.
And we're losing art in the interim. And that's frightening to me.
I also think one of the reasons, because I talk about this quite often on my show, is that there are a lot of opportunities for people now because there's so much stuff and people are making so many things. The problem is that there's just so much stuff. There's so much stuff that
But
it's
not
like
great stuff.
I will say though, you can find some great stuff, but I think that when it comes to, there's just so much.
There is.
There's just, and like there are no. We were just talking as you walked in, how our mutual love for Caddyshack. There are not a lot of great comedies right now.
No.
Not a lot of great comedies.
No, like seriously, Caddyshack. I remember watching that movie over and over and over. Like I don't know anything like that these days. Like
I quoted it religiously. It looks good on you though.
It's so funny because my dog reminds me of that, and I make him dance. I'm all right. It's the best.
It's a Kenny Loggins. You can't beat it.
Exactly.
So many but I and I think that it also relates back to, I grew up in the '80s also, so it's when it's those types of movies. My wife and I are constantly talking about how they don't make movies like that, but the music, and that's what you did really well in this.
Oh my God, the music was crazy
it's like when
good.
The first move from, I think it was 87 and 93, and I can't remember the song that was playing in the car, but it immediately...
Was it Set It Off?
Yes. Is that what it was? No, Set It Off was, it came down later. That one I know very well. But it was when they're all, it was right before the little fight happens. Or I should say, she beats the piss. But there was a song that was playing and it just reminded me of Queens. I think it might have been, but it was whatever it was. It just took me back.
Yep.
And I just was like almost like transported into my neighborhood in Bayside. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. The amount of people that are like, what the hell with this music? It's like, this is what I heard. But see, this was all part of the journey. Like when I was in those rooms and they're like, you're so passionate, I would be talking about the music and how important it was, because in my neighborhood, the bass that you would hear and you would know by the sound and the crispness of the bass who was coming, because it was like,
what they were playing, right? Yeah.
And you knew like, oh, that's trouble.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. So I would tell my actors that like that bass, it's like Jaws.
Yeah.
That doom,
knew who was coming down the block.
You knew what was coming.
Cynthia O, is that one of the ones?
Yes. My God, Shannon, like all these incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
It was so much fun, and I could see. I mean, I could really you have to be, especially with this movie, like the general on the set, especially when you're doing what you're doing to show like, hey, I fought for this thing, and I want you to your actors, to your crew, I want you to fight for me. So was that, because it was your first film, I'm gonna feel like the answer was no, but was it hard for you to say, okay, I gotta tell these people kind of what's what my vision is, and or was like, no, this is what I want, they're gonna see it, they're on the same page, let's go?
I was extremely clear because I have been digesting this for so long, and I know this world better than anybody could know this world. However, best idea wins, I would say. Yeah. Best idea wins. You're going to show me something different, and I go, oh, that makes sense? Great.
Yeah.
But it has to be the best idea, and I've lived in this world.
Yeah.
I know these people, I know these houses, I know the way they look, I know. However, what I was able to do for them, I hired 75% women, and I put them in power positions of being heads of department. So my production designer, I was able to show her, this is what I'm thinking. And here's why. That's the difference. It wasn't like, I see blues and pinks. It was, why do you see blues and pinks? Why is the house ultra feminine? And everything was through character. Everything. I said, the house is this way, and when you go into this, think of this. This is the only place Francine has control. That's it.
Well, the house is a character as much as everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
This is her lair, and she is going to make it as uncomfortable as she can for Joe. Let him be surrounded by floral. Let him be, it's like a, screw you to him. That's her control. Same thing with the costume designer. And then when the DP, he definitely pushed back in some spots because to me it was all through Rose's perspective, all through her perspective. It was all through her eyes. So
through Rose's eyes.
All through Rose's eyes. So that's where the camera was.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, well, no, I really think we should bring the camera down here to get you and Dom. No. I think you should. You're going to want it. Nope, I don't. I don't want it. I want to follow Rose. But when you're doing, and this is something that I knew because of my early beginning in independent films, doing 14 pages a day, and it's like impossible. But we did it. You have to be really clear about what you want, what you don't, what you're looking for. Because, I mean, some of those actors, all of the actors, sometimes had 2 takes, 3 takes at best.
Yeah.
At best, you have to move.
Right.
And you have to be the one to go, nope, yes, nope, yes, move it.
Go. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no like, maybe, you don't have the money for that.
Yeah.
You just don't.
You could tell the performances are solid all the way around. And I believe, like, if you don't believe it with that family, it's over.
100%.
So,
and there's also, the very fine line of going into that character of the family, Italian, like talking like this bullshit.
Yeah, you always get nervous when you turn on.
My God!
And then it was like, okay, no, because as you see, my favorite shows of all time is The Sopranos. And I was like, and the reason that show worked as famously as it did because. Yeah, it's got a ton of the mafia stuff. That's what everyone thinks. That's what brings you in, but it's not what the show's about.
Not what the show's about.
No.
Same thing here. It is not. This is not about mafia.
Right, and it's not. And it's like it is about this. That's why I brought up that I'm gonna get that name of that movie before we sign off. But I asked you.
Remember?
Yeah, I'll figure it out. That was today. This is tomorrow. Whatever. I'll figure it out. But the reason I asked you what you wanted to do after this was going because you're still promoting, you're out there, and this is your world still right now. So you might not be able to think about it, but you clearly you've had some issues with the way that the business is run now and certain ways, but you've been involved in some really big projects. Really some big, like one of the ones, The Boys.
The Boys,
so the
Crash,
Boys,
Summer Sam,
a ton of them,
ton of great.
Yeah, bring
great
up The
stuff.
Boys because The Boys had just kind of done something very differently in the way that your movie, the way that Sopranos did something differently. That wasn't just a superhero show. It was
That's
so much.
right.
It was so much more to it. But tell me a little bit about your experience working on that show. Did you have a good experience on that show?
It was. I liked pretty much everyone.
Okay, pretty much.
I liked everyone except maybe one.
Okay.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's I thought so too. I agree with you. I thought the creator Eric
Kripke,
yeah. I thought we had a long talk about it. I was like, this is so smart.
Yeah.
Because he's saying what he wants to say in a way. I always would say, like with Fresh Kills, I would say, I'm putting the broccoli in the cake. Because if I came out and talked about women's voices, no one cares. So put it in the mafia world.
Right.
And that's what he did with this superheroes. And it's so much more. And it's so smart.
Lure them in, make them stay.
Exactly. And get what you want to say out without preaching to anybody. Nobody wants to be preached to. No one wants a lesson while they're trying to enjoy a movie. No one. So I thought it was really smart. I was never supposed to be on long. It was supposed to be that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Of course, I always play that. That's what comes to me is that detective, FBI, and listen, it's fine. But yeah, it'd be great to be a superhero or some kind of fun, do something else.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and I did see the brilliance of what he was doing.
So you would want to do that stuff if the opportunity presented itself. You would want to go.
If it's a smart story,
Sure.
that's the thing.
Right.
It's like you can do all that stuff, but if the story is there, if the character's
Right.
there, I have nothing like Schwarzenegger and Terminator and that's great stuff.
Yeah.
But there was a great story. It was
Right.
about the son and what was going on. There was story, there was character development. That's what I like. But listen, is that my favorite type of movie? No, I lean towards more like a Moonlight. I love stories that hit
Yeah.
human the ugliness, the beauty, the broken, because that's what we are.
Yeah.
And that's, again, what I love about Fresh Kills is nobody's all good, nobody's all bad. You love the mother, you hate the mother, you love Joe,
Right.
you hate Joe. And that, I have one producer in the beginning pushing me to be very clear who Joe was.
Right.
In the beginning, he's got to kill someone, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, absolutely not. I will, like, literally 10 days before we're ready to shoot, I really think you should change it. And I was like, I don't care, because that's not this movie. We are watching this unfold through Rose's eyes.
Yeah.
Rose loves her father, period, end of story. If we make him a villain right away, it's very, you have a feeling about him. I don't want to dictate to the audience how you should feel about him.
Right.
Because I grew up around girls that their fathers were doing some pretty heinous things. They loved their father, and they would fight you
Yeah.
really quickly if you said anything about him.
Right, but it's not the focus. The focus
Exactly.
wasn't that. The focus was more so of saying
Exactly.
the girls, Rose is aware of what's going on. She's aware. Clearly, they're aware, and it's more about them and setting up. And he's, because there was, I mean, for a second, I was like, oh, we haven't seen Dom in a little bit. And then I'm saying to myself, going, yeah, but we know he's there.
His
we know
presence
is there.
is every scene.
Right.
And that's what I told the ladies as well. You are scared all the time.
Right.
All the time. You don't know if he's coming home, if he is home, where is he, if he's not home, like what's going to happen? Are they going to fight? Is it going to blow?
Right, you don't know. Well, so that's why. So I'm so glad that we went down this road, because there's a scene where that was brilliantly acted and didn't have to be told, and that was when he gives the girls the bakery. Right. It seems to me, and you can answer or not answer, but it seems to me that was basically someone couldn't pay their bills, and he took over the bakery, because the first person is terrified, and then you get the guy who can't speak English, and he's just doing his job, and he's just there, and he's like, I've seen it before, I'm just here. But that scene, I was like, that is showing what he's doing, without telling you.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Him coming home in the middle of the night. Why are you washing clothes in the middle of the night?
Right. And she was losing it.
Losing it because, and she's talking about a washing machine. It has nothing to do with the washing machine.
Right.
She moved into this place thinking, we're going to live a whole new life. And here he comes. Why are you washing your clothes at 2 a.m? Right. You don't have to spell it out. The audience is a lot smarter than anyone gives them credit for. Yeah. And that's, I have to say, the beauty. That's how I'm here.
Right.
That's been the beauty of this, I have to say. And it's honestly what keeps me going, to be quite honest, because this has been really heartbreaking at moments, is the support from the audience and the people. Mad.
Yeah.
Like, why did I not know about this movie? Why did I just happen to come across it on social media?
Right.
Why did I not ever hear about this? Like, what I don't understand. They're pissed. And like you said, I don't map things out for you in this film. You gotta watch. People have told me I watched now for the 5th time and got something else. Right. Yes, because you have to pay attention.
Well, even what you just said just before about how she designed the house, and I was like, oh yeah, I could see that now.
I'm telling you, if you go back and watch it now, it's like, like every time you watch it, it's like, well, I see what's going on.
This is a movie that's been in your head since you were a little girl, so of course you have all those details. And then before I let you go, I wanted to also ask, like, when it comes to stuff that, because obviously you're a big movie and TV fan, is there stuff that you're watching right now? You know what show I could see you on easily? Is The Bear.
Oh, I would love to be on The Bear. Are you kidding me? Oh, that's the kind of stuff. It's
that's
like I would eat that up. Like that's the kind of work. Succession. Oh,
right.
I loved that show. Breaking Bad.
Right.
Oh my God, I May Destroy You. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like there was some great stuff. Don't get me wrong. There absolutely is. But where I was in my career, I wasn't going near any of them.
Right.
And people are like, well, you're that big actress. Like, no, I'm really not. I've done a lot of stuff, but did I get to the level where I'm choosing? And no, absolutely not. And I wanted to do something that I knew I was capable of, rather than the business telling me and dictating who and what I could be as an artist. and as a person.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, mortgage the house.
Well, you did it, and it is. Yeah, and as I tell you guys again, Fresh Kills, support the movie. Go check it out. As Jennifer said, you can watch it on many different platforms. You should see it. You know me. Not only do I love the mafia movies, but this isn't a mafia movie. It is a family film. It is very well done. It is directed, written, and starring Jennifer Esposito. Thank you today for joining me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Really.
Okay, so thank you guys very much, and we will be right back in just a minute. Alrighty. So thank you for joining us on that interview, guys, and thank you for Jennifer Esposito, obviously, for joining us, for being in the studio. How cool is she, man? I mean, I love that. She came in from the city. We sat down. We had a conversation about the movie. I love hearing that story about how someone's passion, like that voice inside someone's head who just said, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, and like just won't let it go, and knows that you're just not gonna be able to rest until you do it. I think it's very motivational, and I love it. I love that she was so open with us on that. So make sure you check that movie out. And again, thank you to Jennifer for joining us today. Okay, we're gonna get to your questions. I almost got you. At least I think I beat Steph yesterday, because we have 13 questions in there right now. So I think I beat Steph. Way off from beating Roxy today. So Roxy's still going to keep her title. Roxy and Mike. No one gives Mike the credit, though. I don't know if we should give Mike the credit. We'll say Roxy right now is the champ. Okay. So before we get to your questions, I want to also, as I've been telling you guys before, that, it is that time of the year. And if you guys didn't know already, that we've been talking about this many times over. And that, of course, our friends over at PrizePicks. You guys know PrizePicks. I've been telling you about PrizePicks, and we're excited now that you guys have more and more people have been listening to me about this stuff, and this is great because it's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. It's got over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers, and what you do more or less is 2 to 6 players, stat projections, and watch the winnings roll in. For me, it's super easy. It's very simple. I like that I don't have to do it. It's not complicated. You just do what you got to do. And I like that PrizePicks puts their members first. So all the withdrawals, they're fast, they're safe, they're secure. So when my picks hit, I get money, and I get it quick. I get it 15 minutes, within 15 minutes. I mean, that's great. So that's why I liked it. I just liked fun and simple. So if you download the PrizePicks app today, use that code BIGTHING, you get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code BIGTHING on PrizePicks, and you get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. And then also wanted to tell you guys about the Perfect Gene. I've been telling you about the Perfect Gene. You guys know about the Perfect Gene. I've been talking about it all week, and I'll continue talking about it because the Perfect Gene is comfortable and it doesn't hug your nuts. That's what I like about it. They sent me the jeans, and I wear them all the time. I have a bunch of them. My wife compliments me all the time, and they have a seriously massive range of sizes, which I don't know if I've told you, from 6 fits, from skinny to thick to waist sizes, from 26 to 50, lengths to 26 to 38. It doesn't matter if you're short. It doesn't matter. Any size, they got it. And for a limited time, our listeners will get 15% off their first order, free shipping at theperfectgene.nyc, or you got to Google The Perfect Gene. We got to use that code BIGTHING. Make sure that you do it. I love wearing them. I love it. And stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectgene.nyc. Again, our listeners will get 15% off your first order, plus free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. Use that code BIGTHING at checkout. It is so wonderful. F your khakis. Get the Perfect Jeans. I love them, and you will too. Okay, so it's time to see if we can actually make a big comeback here, guys. What do you think? Think we can do it? We'll see. Tomorrow, we got me and Winston on the show, and it'll be me and Winston. Corey will be back next week, but me and Winston will be doing the Capes and Cows. I have my Transformers 1. Do you guys care if I do a non-spoiler review of Speak No Evil? Do you care? Tell me if you care. If not, get my out of the theater reaction. I think that might be good enough. Okay, here is the first question. Of course, Kate Hebert, who says, have you revisited the Rogue One score since its release? I think it's got some great tracks, particularly Your Father Would Be Proud. I think I've talked about this actually, Kate. I have revisited it, and I think it's better than I gave it credit to. I still don't like the big sci-fi booming theme when Vader arrives to or it was either Vader or Krennic goes to Vader's castle. Is this big booming thing. I don't like that, but yes, the Rogue One score is much better than I initially gave it credit for. I don't disagree with you. Mormoth Haunts. It's cool names we got coming in here. What are the odds that James Gunn uses the John Williams Superman theme? How mad will we be if he doesn't? You know what's funny about that? I actually tweeted at him a little while, like, I don't know, months ago, saying exactly what you just did. Like, let's get it. Let's get that. It's like the same way that Bond has that familiar theme, or there's Star Trek has that familiar theme, or Star Wars has that familiar theme. Is that why not Superman have that familiar theme, right? And all the pushback I got on Twitter. What? Please don't. Please don't. Don't listen to this guy. Please don't. And the way that people were saying it, it was like, no. Or other people were like more civilized people were going, no, use the Hans Zimmer one instead. People love that. Hans Zimmer one's great. But I do for the uplifting Superman. I'm with you. I think that they should use it. I think there'll be a lot of complaints actually if they do use it more. If they do, I don't think he will. I think they're going to come up with a brand new one, and that will be his theme, kind of going forward throughout the entire thing. But I would love it. They tried to do it. You know, John Ottman, I thought did it very well in the Bryan Singer version. It just didn't, that movie wasn't well received, so I think that it got lumped in there. But I would love it. It's one of my favorite scores of all time, and it's one of the best superhero themes of all time. So we'll see. Next one, Derek Johnson, one of the best. I'm 100% on board with him taking a back seat. X-Men 97 has proven that Wolverine doesn't need to be at the forefront. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. It's going to be hard to argue with you there, because X-Men 97 proved that you can focus in on the team. And I also think that the way that they presented Cyclops and the other X-Men in the movies, the live action movies when they first came out, did them a disservice and put the spotlight on Wolverine. So I think that if you put him on the back burner, when he comes back later and you cast whoever you cast with him, it makes more of an impact. And you see how they kind of got started or get started with them working on their own because Wolverine doesn't join until later on. And then when he joins in movie 2 or movie 3, it could actually be pretty beneficial. So mine and everybody else's first reaction of, what are you doing? Might be wrong. It might actually work out if planned out the right way. So I don't think it's as dumb as it initially sounds. Haunted Autumn. Put a couple on the main to draw traffic. Oh, you're talking about the clips. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So thank you, Haunted Autumn, for letting your opinion be known. So basically, in the beginning of the show, I said that I'm putting clips out on the channel. What I don't want to do is bombard people's subscriptions with a whole bunch of like 8 clip outs per show. I just don't want to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is take like 1 or 2. I'm going to take like 1 or 2 clips, main clips from the show, space them out over maybe a couple hours, hour or two, and let those play on the main channel, and the rest put on the clips channel. Because I have the clips channel that has a lot of the celebrity interviews. I'll put a lot of that stuff in there. But yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do. All right, next one. Bradley Johnson. Do the Yankees make it past the ALCS this year? I mean, of course I want to say yes. It just depends on what the rest of the team has to hit. They can't just, have just a Judge and the rest of the power hitters. They got to have. Everybody's got to hit. Everybody has to hit. Everyone's been slumping, and you got to be able to hit. And if everyone else is hitting and they can hold it off, then yes. If the rest of the team wakes up, then they can make it past. Heroic Hideaway. Feel like they'll let Jackman do the 2 Avengers movies and a small reboot will happen after the Secret Wars. Then recasting him will happen then. I think you're probably right. I mean, that's probably, they feel like there's still money to be made with him and that he still wants to do it. So if he still wants to do it, why don't you let him do it? I understand it. So Mad Sinister McCall, there he is. Beth Snyder. Harloff to react to Eraserhead. Got one view. Yeah, if we're lucky, maybe half of you, I think. And we got 13. Did I beat Steph? I don't know if Steph. How many did Steph have yesterday? I can't remember. But I think I at least tied her. I think she might have 15. I might have lost. Anyway. Heroic Hideaway. I also hated the first trailer, and now I plan to see Transformers opening weekend. Yeah, I'm telling you, you're going to not regret it. I'm going to scream it to the heavens that if you do not... I told the representatives when I was walking out, I said I did not like the trailer. I thought that first trailer does not represent what this movie is. It is one of the worst trailers to represent what a movie actually is. It is not a good trailer. It looks like it plays super goofy. It looks like there's just going to be jokes every 3 seconds. It doesn't look like it's going to be true to the lore. It's completely misleading. Oh, I almost tied Steph. Okay, thanks. One more to tie Steph. I'll take that as a win. But yeah, I think it's very, very misleading. The movie is phenomenal. It's fantastic. I want to see it again. I'm going to take my oldest to go see it again. It's so good. So good. So enjoy it, please. And everybody come back and tell me, by the way. Okay. Here we go. Next one. Ewok. I really hope Spielberg's UFO movies takes a docudrama approach to the mystery, like Oliver Stone's JFK, using the current hearings in D.C. as a lens to explore past real-life cases like Roswell, etc. Hear, hear, my friend. Hear, hear. It's exactly what I've been saying. I don't give a crap about another fantastical Steven Spielberg UFO movie. Because he pays attention to this stuff. He knows about David Grush. He knows about the hearings. He knows about what the Senate's trying to do. He knows about the nuclear cases. He knows about all of these things. He knows about it. He knows the names. He knows the terminology. He knows a lot of the people who've worked hand in hand. He's had very extensive conversations. He could make a very important movie to bring more awareness to people about what this stuff really is, a true story. I say like The Post. That's what I hope. But I think it probably won't happen. Probably won't happen. Simon Section. Thank you, Simon, as always. I'm so glad that Cage felt wrong about the new Transformers movie. I'm so pumped to see it. One day, Cage may feel wrong about Just Friends. Never. Last Jedi. Nope. Rocky V. Rocky V out of all of them is the one I can at least watch again. They are hidden gems. Seek and you shall find it. No, Rocky V would have been a good movie, the same movie if it would have ended in the ring. It just doesn't. Stallone himself hates it. Doesn't like it either. Just Friends is the most overrated stinkbox comedy of all time. I hate that movie. And The Last Jedi is the opposite for me. First time I saw it, I was confused. Second time I saw it, I convinced myself. I was like, oh, this is actually a pretty good movie. And then I was watching it, as I watched it again, and like I said, and I still will say, it is a very well-made film. To this day, I've watched it. We have to watch it or rewatch. It just gets worse and worse for me. It's hard. It's just boring. It's a boring movie. But I still don't take that for people who say because one director has a movie that you don't like, that the next movie that he did Looper. I love Looper. He did the first Knives Out. Really like that movie. He's done Brick. He did Ryan Johnson did some of the best episodes of Breaking Bad ever. He's a great director. Great director, but not that movie. Not for me. And no, I'll never come around on Just Friends because I don't think I have anything to come around on. I just don't like that movie. Okay, so many people like that movie. That's the one that everyone loves. That I'm just like, what? Okay. Christopher Carrillo, talking about Jennifer Esposito. She's a great actress, but I don't appreciate her playing a woman from El Salvador, and she is Italian-American in Crash. Well, she is Italian-American in real life. So you're saying from El Salvador, was she playing someone from... I didn't see Crash, so was she playing someone from El Salvador? But, I mean, that's... I don't know. They cast her. She did a good job. You know, she got the role, and I think your argument would probably be like, why not cast someone actually from El Salvador? Which I understand that too, but it's like not her fault. She went in for an audition and got the role. But yeah, I mean, I again, I don't know what you're referencing necessarily because I didn't see the movie. But this is I did. Thank you, by the way, for your question. And second, I'm glad that you guys got a chance to see that episode, that interview with her. I have another interview with Billy Magnuson that I'm going to do. The same style. Billy Magnuson, of course, he's got a new show coming up called The Franchise on HBO, and it comes out in October, I think. So I think that's when I'm going to air that one, so you guys can see that and kind of chime in on that. And I like displaying your comments as the interviews coming into it. So something that new I'm going to do So I kind of encourage you guys to comment, and if you say something douchey, I'm not gonna put it out there. But if you say something nice while the person's talking, I'll put it up. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all the questions. We got a couple left. I got about, I don't know, I think about 15 minutes to beat Steph. I think I can do it. One more person, at least timing. Ewok coming in. I know that it has its detractors, but I'm really enjoying Rings of Power this season. Steph said the same thing. One of my favorite aspects is Beer McCreary's incredible score. What recent TV or film scores have impressed you? Oh, man. I got to really think about that. What was it? I mean, I liked the score for Transformers 1. It was really good. It was really good, actually. I have to think about the House of the Dragon score, really, really well done. The ones that have just popped out, nothing. You know what score is really underrated? You can say what you want about the movie itself, and it's fine. I mean, I had a fun time watching the movie, but I can acknowledge it's not a good movie, and it's Black Adam. Black Adam, the score is great. It's a great score. It's a really, really good score. Underrated score, but it doesn't get any love because it was a movie that was attached to that people just don't dig. As far as the Lord of the Rings series, yeah, I hear that it's better, but the ratings are down because I think the first season just did too much damage to it. I think not enough people care anymore. So I don't think it gets. It's too expensive. I don't think it gets renewed past season 2. Jacob Tizano, who says, any chance we get Invincible reactions with them being more frequent with the channel would make a great reaction video. I just don't know if I have the time to do that with all the other ones I'm going to be doing. Like tomorrow, we have the trap reaction going up with my wife and I. That goes up tomorrow. The following week is going to be Long Legs with myself and my friend Tina. And the following week after that is Logan and with my friend Sam. And then we're going to start doing we're going to probably do the Deadpool movies again. And it's going to be once a week. Unless, look, the first episode we put out with Sarah did like 7,000 views, but it was on Borderlands and nobody seemed to really care about Borderlands. The fact that it just did 7,000 was encouraging, to be honest, because I looked at other people that were doing it and nobody was watching the reactions. It's okay, at least there was that. So we'll see how my reaction with my wife does. If you guys watch them and they keep doing well, if they do well, then I'll do more of them. But right now they got to start to become good. You know what I mean? For the channel, they're kind of top earners, if you will. Okay, let's see. How many more we got left? Maybe one or two we have left. Okay. Anthony M72. My Magic Spoon package just arrived and I'm pumped. I'm trying to look like you, Kristian. What's your favorite flavor? The chocolate? You don't want to look like me. Poor guy. You don't want to look like me. Ugh. Peanut butter and chocolate. That's what I do. I mix them. And when they come in, I put them both together, and that's what I do. And it's delish at night. I'll do it if I need a snack. I do it with almond milk, and I do peanut butter and the chocolate. They have a lot of really good ones. They have some really good flavors. So some good stuff. Good stuff. Is this the last one? All right, the last one. Peter Parker. Hey, I sent a super chat yesterday as the show was ending. Oh, shoot. Let me see. Well, was it ending on the live chat? Let me see if I can find it on the replay, Pete, because I didn't see it. Did we sign off? I'll see if I can find it real quick, and I will bring this up as we do this. And it looks like I at least tied Steph. I'll be happy with it. I tied Steph, so at least I didn't come in last place. That's good. Let me see if I can find yesterday's show. It was at the very end, you said, Pete? All right, let's see. Bringing it up at the
Whatever
end,
you do,
and I'm gonna
do it for...
Close that down. And I'll see if I can bring... Here, we'll do it this way. So that way we show it. Okay, hold on, everybody. Oh, we got another one. Okay, I think I beat Steph now. Thank you. Okay, we'll see if I can find this one. Ba-da-ba-doo. Where is it? I can't... Let's see, I'm not seeing anything from Pete yet. Maybe it didn't come through, Pete. Wait, I got... Aaron was the last one that I see. I didn't see anything pop through, man. Might not have. It didn't come through. I never got it because it was right. The last one I got, from yesterday's show. I'm looking at it was from Aaron Taskmaster. That was the last one that I saw. Maybe it didn't pop through unless it did and I shut it down. So I didn't see it. You know, people, go ahead and put it in type in whatever you wrote. I'll read it off right now. I'll look for your name. It's popping up in the chat. So Simon Section, I'm curious to see Megalopolis because I haven't seen for F's sakes, for a Francis Ford Coppola movie on the big screen, and this maybe is his last, so out of respect, I might see it on IMAX, despite the bad reviews. How are you? Yeah, there was a couple screenings that have come in, or at least one that in the city that they invited me to, and I may or may not go. I want to see it. I'm going to go check it out for sure. But yeah, how do you not want to see Francis Ford Coppola, even though it's not getting great reviews? I just heard it was so-so from people that I know that saw it. They said it was so-so. So I'm curious. I do want to see it. I mean, it's Francis Ford Coppola. So you did find it in the supers? Where was it? He found it in the supers. Speaking on using actors that have passed on, that certain Romulus character just didn't. This is from Peter Parker yesterday. Thank you, Galaxy Geeks. That certain Romulus character just didn't look good to me. Was that deepfake? Also, I'm hyped for T1. So yeah, I mean, look, you know what's funny about that? I actually think the problem is that the way that they use it, I don't know why it is this way with studios, right? When you look at a lot of stuff that Disney did, I know this is Disney also combined with Fox, but some of the stuff that the deepfake stuff they do with YouTube is way better than the stuff they do in movies. Way better. Like it looks, the ones that I still think the best one that they've done in movies is Michael Douglas in Ant-Man. I mean, there's been some others, but that's the one that stands out to me. Like that's the kind of stuff. I think that even Kurt Russell in that other one was pretty good. Was it the Guardians of the Galaxy 2? But yeah, that's no, you're not hassling, man. That's you paid for a question and we missed it. Not hassling at all. So that's kind of why I think it's yeah. I don't know. I don't understand how they make that work. I don't understand how they make that work when they put that kind of crappy CGI on. And I didn't mind the one in Romulus too bad. I know a lot of people had problems with it, but I think it kind of worked with what they were trying to do. But I understand. And I don't know if it was deepfake or not. I think it was. And as far as being hyped for Transformers 1, you should be. You'll like it. So there you go. So someone did see it. Okay, interesting. Okay. Well, good. I don't know why it didn't pop up. I don't know how Galaxy Geeks found it, but he found it nonetheless. So we got it in there. All right. Well, if anybody else is putting in a question, I don't want to lose it, so put it in now, and we at least beat Steph by one. So, but Roxy, how the hell did Roxy pull off 31 more questions? That's pretty great. Tomorrow, Winston takes a crack at the belt. Can he get it? We'll see. We got a good show with me and Winston tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff to cover. We'll cover, I don't know, maybe we will get to, I guess I got to watch Venom. Now that I said I wasn't going to watch him, I probably have to watch it. So I'll probably do Venom tomorrow. Now that I said I wasn't going to watch it, I realized with Capes and Cows, I probably have to. And that's true. Carla said that Roxy called everybody trash. That's how she got everybody to do it. That's all you got to do. I'm not going to call you names. I can't do it. The fact that you guys just put in that many questions is super awesome. I can't call you trash. And I know Roxy didn't. She was just busted chops. But anyway, this is a good show. Thank you. Tomorrow's going to be great. And we have more stuff. I don't want to do a live reaction to Venom. I don't want to do it. Do I have to? Someone wants to do a live reaction to Venom right now? Ugh. No one wants to see that. I don't know if that's true, but no one wants to see that. Yeah, I don't know. I liked today's show. It was quiet, small. I liked those little quiet moments. And then I like the big moments too. So, anyway, thanks for being here today, everyone. Really appreciate it. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you. Love it. Wonderful. Nice. Thank you to our sponsors. That's the other thing. Make sure, if you haven't done that already, do the sponsors. And we're starting channel memberships too. Talk to PLD. Thanks. You guys rule.